So let's go over to the final game we're talking about today. SMU beating number 22 Louisville 34-27 in this one. Let's go over the highest grade player, starting off with the Mustangs in this one. Your guy, Dalton, Elijah Roberts was the highest graded non-quarterback at an 83.5. Isaiah Nokobia, 75.8. Keyshawn Smith at a 75.5. Jake Bailey, 74.2. Jafari Harvey at a 72.5. And Kevin Jennings was the highest grade player at an 86.1. Great day for Kevin Jennings. And then let's go to the Louisville side with their highest grade players. Tyler Shuck was actually the highest graded Cardinal at an 80.7. But after him, you got Isaac Brown at 76.6, Ashton Gelati at a 73.1, MJ Griffin at a 71.1, Jamari Johnson at a 69.8, and Austin Collins at a 67.1. So, Dawn, we thought this SMU Louisville game would be one of the biggest results of the day going into it because like, this is a really good win for SMU, and we didn't think we'd get that many insane games afterwards. Now this is the 8th game we're talking about today, but still, great win for SMU and establishing themselves as the new, contender in the ACC after Miami and Clemson. But what for you was the stat that told the story in this game?
This was a terrific football game, first of all. This was a great game, back and forth. Ja'Cory Brooks making big plays, SMU making big plays, Kevin Jennings, all that stuff. But a big thing. And look, Kevin Jennings is a young quarterback, and you really want to get heat on young quarterbacks. And I think SMU's offensive line isn't quite what it was last year. It was a really good unit last year, but Louisville got no sacks in this game. They didn't even get a whole lot of pressure in this game. As a team, a 58.1 pass rush grade, no sacks. They only pressured Jennings on 8 of his 29 dropbacks. Wow. Not a great number. Ashton Gelati, obviously a superstar up front. He was the only player that had multiple pressures. He was the only player with a pass rush grade above 66. The depth guys on this defensive line that made them so good through their first handful of games, it didn't happen in this game. But between just not breaking through the offensive line, and then even when they had chances at Jennings, he got away because he is mobile, and he's more mobile than Preston Stone. Props to Preston Stone too, coming off the bench for a play and throwing a touchdown. Man, that's great stuff. I mean, you talk about a guy, had a great year last year, could have quit on him if he wanted to, honestly.
Kind of like Jalen Hurts a little bit when Tua took his job a little bit, and he just stayed with the course.
Yeah, and stayed the course, and I would guarantee you they needed, Jennings came out, he was hurt for a play or two in this game, down in the red zone, and Stone threw a touchdown anyway. Look, Rhett Lashley, we have questioned this quarterback situation a little bit early in the year, but I think Jennings' mobility has been a big part behind an offensive line, losing guys like Branson Hickman, not quite as good in pass protection as it was last year. Jennings' mobility is an equalizer. His rushing ability is definitely an equalizer for this offense, and this was his best game, but it was in part because Louisville just couldn't get to him. They couldn't do it. It's a very good defensive line that just didn't get it done in this game. Jennings was clean all day. He had windows to throw into. He could run when he wanted to. Louisville's defense, their front seven, did not play up to the standard that they have been in prior weeks.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, SMU's offense, I mentioned in the preview how, Kevin Jennings under pressure has been really good this year. And we thought that'd be a big storyline in this game, and he just wasn't under pressure at all. So, yeah, great job by SMU's offensive line. And actually, I'm going to get into my most impressive part in just a second. But SMU in this game, my side to tell the story, 8.1 yards per play in this one. 0.396 EPA per play. That's the most that Louisville's allowed in a game in the last 3 seasons. So SMU's offense was fantastic. 10.4 yards per pass as well. Louisville entered this game with one of the best defenses in America, and SMU was getting basically anything they wanted on the Cardinals. So really, really impressive performance of Kevin Jennings, that offensive line, that run game, everything offensively was working for SMU against an elite defense like Louisville has right now. I mean, we got to take SMU seriously now in the ACC.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that loss to BYU looks a lot better than it did at the time. Yeah. I mean, a tight loss to BYU where they very easily could have won the game. Now you look at both of those teams a whole lot different. And right, look, with SMU winning this game, and some of the other results we've seen in the ACC, Duke lost to Georgia Tech, and some other one. The ACC's been kind of volatile. Virginia beating BC. SMU's pretty clearly the third best team in the ACC right now.
I would agree.
I don't think there's any question about that. So you're really talking about a team finding its way, and through a tough loss against BYU, that a game they would argue easily that they're sitting there saying they should be undefeated right now. They should have won that game. They just made too many mistakes. But no, this is a run. And you look at the rest of SMU's schedule, especially after winning this game, they don't play Miami or Clemson in the regular season. They may be favored in the rest of their games, This is a story now with SMU. There is a chance they could make the conference title game if they run the table here. They don't have a conference loss, and I think they're favored. They're going to be favored in the last 6 games.
We're never wrong. We're just early. Because I remember we were very high in SMU entering the year, and then they lost to BYU, and we're like, maybe we were wrong about SMU. No, never wrong, just early. SMU is kind of turning around now. Now all of a sudden they're
It's another moment. I think we have it with SMU. I think we have it with Colorado. I think we have it with Clemson. Out-of-conference losses in this format don't kill you.
Yep.
Out-of-conference wins are spectacular,
yeah.
But out-of-conference losses don't kill you because you're talking about, okay, all we have to do is, 1, we could run the table in our conference and make the conference title game, and 2, you win the conference, you get a top 4 spot.
Yep.
So, and SMU is one of these teams right now where you go, screw around and make the conference title game the way that they've played the last couple weeks. They just wallop TCU. And then this game against Louisville, they were really good. Look, all of a sudden, you look at SMU and you go, they're 5-1. Let me give the rest of their schedule real quick. You ready?
Yep.
Stanford, Duke, Pitt, who's been playing really well. They're another team on this list. We got to talk about Pitt more because they're 5-0. You know, what's the stat? Real quick, I'm getting off track. Eli Holstein, first Pitt quarterback to win his first 5 starts since Dan Marino.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, anytime you bring up Dan Marino, I had to bring that up because I really like that. Anytime you get to bring up Dan Marino with a Pitt stat. Yeah, so Stanford, Duke, Pitt, BC, Virginia, Cal. And the Cal game's at home.
All winnable.
All winnable.
All favored.
SMU they have a road right in front of them, too.
Where is that Pitt game? Is that at SMU?
That's at home, too.
Ooh, okay.
So the road games there are Stanford, Duke, and Virginia.
Okay. Yeah, they can...
SMU's a vibe right now.
Yeah,
I won't lie to you. That is, I mean, you talk about 6 games. I would honestly, with Pitt and Cal, those games being at home, and even BCB, I think I would favor SMU in all 3 of these, all 6 of those games.
Shout out Rhett Lashley. We actually interviewed him preseason. He was an awesome guy. They're doing a great job. So Dalton, what for you is the most impressive part of this SMU win?
Oh, it's Jennings. It's Kevin Jennings. Best we've seen him yet. And again, we questioned this move earlier in the year, but his mobility is a big key. His ability to get in the design run game is a big key. Look, in the passing game, 21 of 27 for 281 and 81.9 passing grade, 13 carries on the ground for 109, including a big, long touchdown on a designed quarterback power. He's bringing the dual threat thing. It's the one difference between him and Preston Stone. Stone is not a runner. He will improvise to throw. He can improvise a bit. He was really good outside the pocket last year. But with this offensive line and Kevin Jennings' ability to move, he's changing the way this offense works. He's been spectacular the last 2 weeks.
I've got to talk with the offensive line because I said in the preview, hand up, I was wrong about this one. I said the Louisville defensive line against the SMU offensive line is a mismatch. Nope. It was a mismatch, just not in the way I thought it was going to be a mismatch, because SMU's offensive line really came to play in this one. SMU averaged 5.4 yards per carry in this game. Louisville entered the week 8th in the country with 3.1 yards per carry allowed. So you average 5.4, more than 2 yards per carry more than what Louisville was allowing this year. Louisville, run defense-wise, negative 0.337 EPA per run. Yesterday, 0.185 EPA per run yesterday. Unreal performance by SMU's offensive line to get something going in the ground game. And then in the pass game, 0 sacks, 6 pressures allowed on 30 pass blocking snaps. A 20% pressure rate allowed in this game by SMU's offensive line. Louisville entered the week with a 42% pressure rate, which was 6th in the nation. So you cut their pressure rate in half. You added 2 yards per carry on top of what they've allowed all year. The SMU offensive line, I think even more so than Kevin Jennings, this is the reason why SMU won this game, because if their offensive line couldn't do anything and they couldn't do anything in the ground and they couldn't protect Kevin Jennings, they were going to lose this game. But their offensive line came to play in this one, and it's ultimately why the Mustangs pulled off this win.
For sure. For sure, they won the battle in the trenches, and their quarterback won the battle. And Tyler Shuck was really good in this game.
He was.
Too. He was really good. Him and Ja'Cory Brooks. SMU's still the one thing I can still see in this game. I mentioned it in the preview. Still got to get better defending outside the numbers. Cornerback spots. They got to play better. They got to play better in the secondary. But there is definitely a road for them to get to the conference title game.